Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel Mainframe Girls. Today, on the request of a subscriber, we are doing a video on multi-volume dataset. This is very deep concept, but I have taken some of the basics of this multi-volume dataset and I'll be explaining in this video. So, as per the title, what is a multi-volume dataset? What is multi-volume? Means a dataset which is residing means a file which is residing more than one volume. Means if it is staying in 2 volumes, 3 volumes, how many volumes if it's staying, we call it multi-volume dataset. But how it is being multi-volume? Means sometimes normally if you're creating a file, it will go into a single volume, right? But in here, in this case, when we are talking about a multi-volume, you're saying that there are more than one volume here. So there are two types of allocations here. One is SMS managed and non-SMS managed. When it comes to an SMS managed, what happens? You have a rules called ACS rules. ACS, which we call as ACS rules or ACS routines, which have data class, store class, and management class and storage group. This four will take part in doing this multi-volume allocation thing. But when it comes to non-SMS managed, here you have to manually give it if you want a dataset to be a multi-volume dataset. Okay, but for a SMS managed dataset, if your dataset wants to be a multi-volume, if it wants to be in more than, if the dataset allocation is bigger and it cannot allocate in a single volume and it needs another volume for allocation, and the SMS rules will come into picture and they will tell whether it can take a next volume or not. So if you guys require a clear session on this ACS routines, how data class works, how storage class works, how a management class and storage group works, so in depth I can make another video on this topic. But now, as per multi-volume data set, there are two types of allocations. One is SMS managed, where automatically as per the rules of ACS, you will be getting allocated with the multi-volume data set, and a non-SMS managed, where you have to give the manually you have to give the volume names and how many volumes you need, everything in a non-SMS type. We know how we are that multi-volume data sets. You will be normally creating a data set when it is a PS file or a PDS file, not a PDS file. As you know, PDS file is a single volume file. PS file or a VSAM file can be multi-volumed. Okay, PS or VSAM can be multi-volumed. Then when it is when you are creating a normal PS file or a normal VSAM file, what happens if it is SMS managed? There is no need of giving any volume parameter or anything, how many volumes you need, anything you doesn't need to give. Because when it is SMS managed, automatically there is a thing which comes into picture, that is, as I told you, ACS routines. ACS routines will come into picture. In ACS routines, what happens when it is SMS managed? First, it will check the data class of the data set, where you can see how many volumes this data class parameter is having. Then and again it comes, storage class will come into picture. Then again management class will come into picture, and at last storage group will come into picture. So in this four will take care of assigning volumes to a SMS managed data set. Okay, but when it is a non-SMS, there are some things. This is called a volume parameter. So in DD statement, when you're coding a DD statement, if your job is failing or you need a job, you need a file with more volumes, you say that you need with more volumes, then you give this volume parameter. You say volume equals to, I need, you have to give comma, 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 3 commas, and you say I need 20 volumes. Okay, I need 20 volumes to be allocated. Then you give this parameter in your DD step. When you're creating the data set, you give this parameter. When you're giving particular space, when you're giving this space, then after space you will give this volume parameter and say that you need this 20 volumes. Suppose if you know if you are facing a bench, sometimes you will be saying that I got an SB37 abed, which is a space abed. So what happens? How you rectifies it? You say that, okay, the volume parameter, if the space is enough, okay, this is the space required. But suppose you have given some 1000 comma 1, okay, 1000 comma or 100 comma 50. Primary and secondary you have given 100 comma 50, and it is the exact space which is needed, but there isn't enough space in the volumes in the single volume. If it is trying to allocate in a single volume, if there isn't enough space, what you'll say? You'll give this parameter. You say that volume equals to comma 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 20. Then the data set will extend up to 20 volumes. Okay. Then so what is the maximum number which you can give here? Normally you can give here 255 is the maximum volume number you can give here. But as you remember, I have told you, explained you in an extense video that for a PS file, how many volumes it can go up to? It can go up to 59 volumes. Even for a VSAM file, which I'll be explaining in future, it can go up to 59 volumes. So even you have given 255 here, it will bypass it, and the data set will go up to only maximum of 59 volumes. Okay, so for the PS and VSAM file, it can go up to 59 volumes, and you can code here up to 255. And if it is a tape file, if you are talking about a tape file, if you want your tape file to be a multi-volume, then you can code up to 255. It can go up to 255. And next comes an unit parameter. What is this unit parameter? Unit parameter is nothing but, if you are quite know about the storage units, there are some units called 3390, which tells the model, which model it is. 3390 means dash disk. 3340, 3380 is the old dash D. So if it is tape, you code here saying that unit unit, you have to code everything. Unit equals to 3390. Suppose you need dash D volume, 3390 comma, you code it as 3390 comma 5. Okay, you code it like this, and you say that I need 5 volumes of this type of dash D. I need 5 volumes of tape. I need, if it is tape, you give 3940. If it is dash D, you give 3390. So you give that model name and you say that I need this many volumes. If it is mostly when it is non-SMS volumes, you do this. When it is non-SMS, you write this volume and this unit parameter. And coming to storage group, why I have mentioned storage group here? Sub storage group is again an ACS routine. Here I'll give you a basic thing. What is a storage group? Storage group is nothing but a group of volumes under one name. Okay, this set of volumes with some prefix. Suppose think that some group of volumes with prefix AS star will be under one name called something DB2 team. So they need a storage group. We say that DB2 store group, and other storage group, some VSAM storage group. So we say VSAM storage group. So then some particular volumes will be under that storage group. Okay. Suppose when you are creating a data set with some name called dash D. Okay, if you are creating with high level qualifier dash D, and dash D volume should go into this storage group. Okay, if suppose this storage group has having 20 volumes, then this data set can allocate all these 20 volumes according to the requirement. And next comes this data class again, which is an ACS routine. But what does this data class parameter is doing? In data class parameter, there is an attribute called volume attribute. In this volume, if you give a number called 1 or 5, you can give up to 255. Okay. If you're giving a number in this while creating a new data class, or you're editing a new data class, whatever you're doing with a data class, if you are giving a volume parameter, in that there is an attribute called volume parameter. If you're giving specifying a number there, and when you're creating a particular data set, if that data set is taking this data class, then if that data class has specified with only 5 volumes, then your data set will extend up to only 5 volumes, because your data class will stop that data set to take more volumes. So it is mentioned there. It depends on the data class also. Okay, last is storage class, which is again an ACS routine. Storage class is nothing but in it there is a it will test our performance, how the performance of the data set is, how much, how many, like how much space it is taking and everything. So when it comes to this storage class attribute, there is an attribute called guaranteed space. Okay, you can give this guaranteed space as yes or no. Okay, yes or no. So there are two things here. So if you have specified storage class guaranteed space equals to yes, it will say that yes, you can, the data set can be multi-volume data set. When if it is specified no for the guaranteed space, then a data set, your data set cannot be a multi-volume data set. Okay, so that's how this storage class will come into picture. So if you need a proper explanation of what is storage class, data class, storage group and management class, which are by default called as ACS routines, I can make another video on it, where you will be knowing how a storage class or data class, storage group affects the volume allocation. And I've told you abends. These are the abends mostly if you get SB37, SD37 and SE37, because if there isn't enough space while creating a data set, or if there isn't a proper allocation in the secondary, if there is no space in the volume, you get this, if SE37. So these abends, if you see this abends, mostly you can solve that issue with this volume parameter or unit parameter, or giving a data class or changing the data class parameter. There will be saying that if you change the data class to a large parameter, then they'll say that it will allocate a bigger data sets. So it's like that. You can give up manually, you can enter the storage class, data class inside your code to avoid this abends. Okay, these are some of the examples. As I told you, this you can specify volume equals to comma 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 20 in your DD statement while creating a data set. This is one example. Why this commas means there are some positional parameters before it. So you have to leave this place to those parameters. One is retain, private, and sequence number. So you have to give that place to them. So after that you come. This place is for volume count in volume parameter. I can prepare a video on a volume parameter separately so that you can understand what everything it is. But for a multi-volume data set, basically you have to know where you can give this volumes parameter, means where you, how many volumes you can specify. As I told you, 255, but it can go up to 59. This is one parameter. And in volume there is another thing called serial, where it is called volume equals to serial equals to this many serials. So as you know, volume serial, this is a 6 digits unique code for the each volume. So if you want your data set to be in this particular volumes, then you can directly code those names, those serial numbers here, and you can ask the data set to go into these volumes. Okay, so, this unit parameter, as I told you, if you want this type, okay, 3390, I want type of 3390 volumes, 5 volumes. Okay, so when you're creating after space parameter, you say that unit is equals to 3390 comma 5. So it will take 5 volumes of type 3390, which means disk type, to create this volume, to create that data set. Next come, as I told you, data class. If data class is having that volume parameter, where in that volume parameter, if it is defined, sometimes 5 will be defined, sometimes 1 will be defined, depends on how much value you have given in that volume parameter of the data class. So sometimes what they do is, if there is an application says that there is an application, in that application they says that we need a data class with this much, with these attributes, we need the data class with these attributes, and in that attributes, one attribute should be volumes. My data set should extend up to 5 volumes, my data set should extend up to 10 volumes. So we create a data class for them with a volume saying that, with a volume parameter saying that 5 volumes or 10 volumes. Okay, so when their data set get assigned to this data class, it will automatically take those 5 volumes. Okay, coming to that, there is another thing here which is called candidate volumes, which I forgot to tell you before. Candidate volumes, what is candidate volumes? So So when it is allocated 5 volumes, right? When it is allocating to 5 volumes, so this your data set will be residing on. Suppose your data set need only 3 volumes, okay? But you said that you have specified volume equals to 20. You have specified here 5, and according to data class, it needs 5 volumes. But your data set, whatever data is there, it can go up to 3 volumes. So what happens to the other allocation? What happens to the remaining? Okay, the candidate volumes is, suppose if there is space here, suppose you have given 5 here, right? So what happens? The allocation which you have given, the data set is taken only 3 volumes. And what about other 2 volumes, other 2 allocation? It will be there with the data set, but like called as candidate volumes. Suppose in future there is more data entering into that data set, what happens? It needs another volume, right? At that time, this candidate volume picture it will become again a primary volume. Okay, so it will become a primary volume again in future. Again, after some days, if there is a data extension again, so again this will come into picture, and this will a new volume will be coming here. If again there is a data, there won't be any data set here, then it will append saying that there isn't enough space in the volumes for the data set. So this is a candidate volumes. That is how if you are allocating 20 volumes, that 20 volumes, it's not like waste of space. Okay, if your data set need only 10 volumes, it will allocate till 10 volumes, and the remaining 10 volumes will be candidate volumes, like they'll stay there. Empty volumes will be empty, stars will be there staying there. Okay, so it will allocate when there is an extension. If it is a VSAM, what you do for a VSAM? VSAM will be extending in future, right? It will be extending slowly. So it's like that. And there's another type here. If you're giving specifying disp parameter as mod, what happens is you can specify a different primary spaces in different volumes. See, you say that for the same file, if you are creating this file, in this file you have given saying that you have given mod, and you said that 10 is primary, 5 is secondary, and volume is a volume 1. Okay, and if this space isn't enough for this, so see, thing is that this is volume 1, and if this space isn't enough for this, what it will do is it will create it will go to the next step. Okay, it need more space, then it will go to the next step. But in the next step, the primary will be different. The primary will be allocation will be 20 cylinders. Okay, again it will go up to 5 cylinders. It will use whole volume until it is full, or until the extent value of the data set is full. Like, you know the extent, right? If it is a PS file, it could go up to 16 extents in a volume, like that. Until the extent value is full, it will be using that volume. And again, for volume 3, if you are specifying some 30 tracks here, again it will take the primary 30 cylinders first, and the secondaries will be using here. So this is a last, like I'm giving you the last example here. There are many more examples which I can give. There are many types of allocations which you can play with unit parameter and the volume parameter. If you go in depth of understanding how the unit parameter or how the volume parameter works, volume and serial parameter works, you can create a multi-volume data set, different types of multi-volume data set. In this example, as I told you, you need 3390 type of disk, you need 5 volumes, and I have given average rec as M, which says MB, this MB. So the first, it will create 100 MB of space here. Okay, it will take 100 MB of space. Then the secondary, it will take 25. So, but this storage class should be given as the storage class. As I told you, the guaranteed space should be equals to yes. If the guaranteed space is not yes for this storage group, then storage class, then you cannot create in multi-volume. So you mention a storage class here saying that my data set wants to be a multi-volume data set, and in the storage class your guaranteed space is equals to yes. So it will create your data set in 5 volumes. How it will create? It will, in every time it will take a new volume. Whenever it takes a new volume, it will take a primary space of 100 MB first, and the secondary space of 25 MBs. 25 MB. So 5 volumes can be taken, and then the 5 volumes, every time a new volume it is taking, it will allocate a new 100 MB of primary, and and it will take again the secondaries depending upon the space in the volume or depending upon the extent count of that volume. So if you need more explanation on ACS routines or volume parameter or unit parameter, please comment us below so that we can explain you. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel.